This book is called Wisdom from a Humble Jellyfish and Other Self-Care Rituals from Nature by Rani Shah. It's about a little bit about each animal, and Rani Shah, the author, writes about each animal and how we can learn a little bit from each animal and how that can help us with self-care. And it's a really good book because it's kind of funny in a way, but it's also fun to read because it's like you take animals and you turn them into advice, and then it's like an advice book, but it's an animal book. And it has a lot of funny things about animals themselves. Some of the animals are like a jellyfish or a wombat, or there aren't just animals, but there are also plants. And one of the plants is like an avocado tree. And there's lots of other things. And the author, Rani Shah, named a few things about each animal, and she names very interesting things too. This time it's really exciting because we have the author here with us. And I'm going to interview the author and ask her a couple questions. Hello, Miss Rani.
Hello, Miss Maya. How are you?
Good.
Look at your shirt. Astronomically. What does it say?
It says astronomically awesome.
Oh, it's awesome. So many planets on it. It's wonderful. How are you?
Good. Did you learn about all the animals you wrote about at the same time?
That's a great question. So the way I researched this, I didn't. I actually, I had a couple animals in mind. Like I definitely knew I wanted to write about the jellyfish. I knew I wanted to write about vervet monkeys. But some of these animals, I definitely had to do some digging. So for example, the shrimp chapter. I had no idea that shrimp were so incredible and like kind of creepy and crazy and cool. So I probably did that research towards the end. So it was like a really long journey, and I had a lot of friends and family and coworkers suggest animals to research. So it was awesome. Animals are my favorite thing. So I got to do research by watching Planet Earth and reading cool books. And it was just a never-ending process, and it was wonderful. So maybe I'll even write another book with more animals. There's so many to write about. The research will really never end.
Did you like writing the book?
Writing the book, I think, was probably the most fun thing I've ever done. It was extremely enjoyable. I got to research things I love researching, but there were moments where it was really hard and I felt like giving up. But I didn't, because I had people supporting me, and I just felt like this was a really important topic. So it was really fun, but sometimes really fun things can be really hard, and that's okay, because at the end of the day, I got some super cool book out of it. So it's totally worth it, and I would love to do it again if I get the chance.
Why did you write the book?
That's a great question. So the reason I wrote this book is because I absolutely enjoy reading about animals and learning about them. And I actually wrote a really cool blog post about animals. And after I wrote this blog post, people on the internet really seemed to like it. So once people started liking it, I had a book company reach out to me that asked me to write it. And I said, you know what? This is going to be a really hard challenge, but I think it'll be worth it, because who wouldn't want to research animals all day and talk to other people like you who also enjoy animals? So it was the best. I also really enjoy jellyfish. So if I had the chance to have a book with the word jellyfish in it, I was going to take the chance.
I like jellyfish too.
You have good taste in animals. Good job.
What made you want to write about the vervet monkey?
Ooh, very cool question. So the vervet monkey, first of all, there's so many species of monkey, right? There's like, chimpanzees and gorillas are already a whole different section of primates, and then you have monkeys. And there's so many species. You have baboons, and you have orangutans, and Vervet monkeys are just one of the many. So for that chapter, I don't know if you remember, but it was all about communication and how when you're learning something or someone's teaching you, it's about being patient and knowing that it's okay to make mistakes. Everybody makes mistakes when they're learning something new. So the vervet monkey came to mind after doing some research on animals that show forgiveness and show resilience. So that was really exciting for me because the way they communicate, right? First of all, they can communicate, which is so cool. Like if they see a killer eagle or something, they'll go to the ground. And if they see a deadly snake, they'll go to the trees to save them and their families. So the vervet monkey I decided to write about because it showed even if you're a small baby monkey and you're trying to communicate, the adults will forgive them for making a mistake. And also the way they handle mistakes is really nice because even though they know the younger ones are learning, they don't dismiss them or make them feel bad for making a mistake, they teach them. So that was a really important lesson. I think no matter what grade you're in, knowing that you can always get better and learn from your mistakes is super important so you never give up, just like the vervet monkey. Are there any other animals that you really liked or wanted to know more about? I can try and do my best.
I like the sunflower one. When did you learn about the sunflower one?
Ooh, okay, that's actually a good question. So the sunflower, a lot of people think that they always face the sun, but it's not true. And I know you read this chapter. That one I started looking at because when I think of a happy flower, I think of sunflower. It's super bright, right? It's huge. Like if you look at them in real life, like as big as our face. They're so big. So not only that, but I'm like, okay, if I'm talking about looking on the bright side, which is really important, right? Like right now it's kind of scary outside, right? You know, people are getting, but it's important to stay optimistic, which means looking on the bright side and making sure all
we made it 2 months.
exactly.
Yay!
2 months down. And 2 months ago, we would have been like, oh, so much time, but now we totally did it. So it's really important to look at the bright side. Like today's interview was like my bright side of the day. So the sunflower totally came to mind because they also grow following the bright side. When they're baby sunflowers, they follow the sun. And it's really important for us, I think, too, because when we're sad, it's important to look at really bright things. So they came to mind immediately. I've always liked them.
When I read the chapter about the shrimp, I really liked it because it made me think, oh, I'm smaller than the other kids at school, but I'm still pretty big. I can still do my math like all the other kids.
Good. You are just as bright and just as smart. It doesn't matter if you're tall or short or wide. Doesn't matter. And the shrimp, you're so right, is the perfect example of that, right? Like shrimps, some of them get eaten, which is very sad, but some of them are really, really awesome. And even though they're tiny, they come in different colors and different sizes. Yeah, right. And that's big. I was always the smallest kid too in my class, but it doesn't mean that I didn't have any power. It didn't mean that I couldn't really make an impact. And shrimps are crazy, right? Like they do all these really insane things. One of my favorite parts of the book was talking about how the pistol shrimp, I don't know if you remember that one, it makes like a really loud noise. And it was insane. Like during some of like the wars the US would have, they would park their submarines by giant colonies of pistol shrimp because the pistol shrimp would be so loud that the sonar communication that the submarine would need to like talk to people would be blocked so that enemies couldn't even hear the submarine or see that it was there because a pistol shrimp made so much noise and things like that. You know, you have a lot of power in these small creatures, and I'm so happy you got that from it. And if anyone makes you feel small, don't let them. You're good at math. Keep it up.
I'm good at reading. I'm good at everything everybody else in school is.
You're the best interviewer ever had too, so you can add that to your list.
Which one was your favorite chapter that you wrote?
Ooh, what an interesting question. Okay, my favorite chapter to write and to research was the creepy spiders. So the reason I liked this chapter so much is for many reasons. I love the message, obviously, which is if you have a goal or something you really want to accomplish in your life, I feel like a lot of times we're told there's only one way to get there, but that's not always true. There's different ways to get to your goals. And so I love that message because I can relate to it. Another reason why I loved writing it is because spiders, I think we kind of assume spiders are just like those creepy things that like show up in our house sometimes. But I think we forget how important they are to the ecosystem, right? And the way that different spiders, like before this book, I actually didn't even know that different spiders have different shaped webs. Like I knew a couple of them did, but I didn't know how some spiders have golden colored webs. I didn't know that some spiders actually take kind of like a lasso type thing and like throw their web at a prey to capture it. So that chapter was just so interesting to me because I knew spiders were cool. I didn't think they were that cool. So that was just insane. And I kind of hope I see more spiders now. I want to discover what kind of webs they're weaving.
Then maybe you can discover which type of spider it is.
Oh, totally. Because depending on the species, they'll have different shapes of web. So this gets me one step closer to understanding what's around me. So that's a really good point.
My favorite chapter was the wood frog because it's really cool that it freezes and unfreezes.
Right? Do you think you would want that ability? Would you like to kind of freeze and unfreeze when you want?
Yeah.
Right? That'd be so cool. That'd also be a little inconvenient if you're ever going skiing. You're like, oh, you're stuck on top of the hill. But the wood frog is so crazy. I recommend you and all your friends, if you have a chance, ask your parents to go on YouTube and look up like a wood frog freezing video. And there's actually videos of it being frozen and scientists gently putting it in some like warm water, and you see it come back to life. And it's really, really cool because it totally just looks like a dead frog, but it's not. So zombie frogs, totally a thing.
You mentioned that it looks like a leaf or a rock.
Yes, very good. It does look like a rock. So if you look, I wish I could describe it. Like here's this is a mouse, not a frog. But it kind of just looks like this, and it's like hard to the touch because it's basically frozen. So yeah, definitely look up that. That is my fiance. He's helping with the interview. Definitely look that up. It's super cool, and it's crazy because they're found super north where it's really cold. So maybe one day when I'm like in upper Alaska or like northern Canada, I can find a wood frog. That would be awesome. But it does look like dirt, you're right. So it might be hard because they camouflage really well.
If you always wanted to be an author, and how does it feel to be
Have you ever wanted to be an author? Have you always wanted to be an author?
Oh, great question. I think, okay, let me give you a good example. I have always wanted to be an author in the same way I think a lot of people want to be, movie stars or an astronaut. It's like, oh, I would like to, but I never really took it seriously. And the reason I didn't is maybe because I didn't think I could do it. So it was like, oh, it'd be cool if I did that, but I didn't really take it seriously. But that changed when I moved to New York City and I started writing. So I actually do have a job that's not just writing all day. I have a job that is about blogs and writing things from the internet. So once I started doing that, my focus changed. And when somebody gave me the opportunity to write a book, I realized like, yeah, I actually totally want to do this. This is something super exciting and cool. So I can't say this was like my dream, but the only reason it wasn't my dream is because I don't think I could ever achieve it. Now that I did do it though, I'm realizing how incredible it is. And it feels exactly how I think it'll feel. It's like cool seeing your name on a book. It's weird, like you go to a library or a bookstore and it's creepy seeing your own face on something. So I am
like, what? That's me.
Exactly. It's so creepy and like cool, not in a bad way, and like a fun thing. So
wow. Like that. That's
exactly.
cool.
It is so cool. And like I've gotten to meet so many interesting people. Like this interview is amazing, and I've had a couple other interviews, and it's just an awesome feeling. And I think now that I've written one book, I have the confidence to write more. So I love it, and I'm really excited.
What is our next book coming? Is she working on a new book? Are you working on another book?
Are you working on another book right now?
Currently, I am not, but that doesn't mean I'm not going to try to write another one. So the process of pitching and starting a book does take some time. That being said, now I have so much time because we're indoors. So I'm thinking of writing another one. So not sure about it, when or what it's going to be about, but stay tuned. Maybe in a couple of years, a new one will be out.
Thank you very much for joining the interview.
Thank you so much for having me. This was so wonderful. I enjoyed all your questions.
That's the end of the video. I hope you enjoyed it. See you next time on a My the Science Kid video. Do 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 do.